Hi, for this video, we will be learning the concept of opposition in king and pawn endgame. So there are two scenarios. Either we are on the winning side, which means we have extra pawn, or we are on the defending side of the same. So we'll look at all the scenarios and understand when it is winning, when it is draw, and when it is lost. So idea of opposition is very important in the king and pawn endgame because king's position matters a lot. It depends a lot upon your king's position if you can make your pawn to queen successfully or not. Like here in this position, we can take the direct opposition by going king to c5. So usually we take the opposition by going in front of the opponent king one square away. In our move, we step in front of opponent king. That is we usually call taking the opposition. That is usually the strongest position we can take. Because now black king has a dilemma. Either it has to step by the side and we will cover the side. Let's take the example. We will cover the side. Now again, king goes there. We can take the opposition, step in the front of the opponent king, one square away. We take the opposition. Now king again has a dilemma. It has to leave on the side. And now finally we control the queening square. And when you can control the queening square, that's when you know you can successfully make the queen. That's the final goal of this type of king and pawn endgame. Now whatever black does, they cannot stop us from queening over pawn. That is our goal. So with the opposition, we force our opponent to step aside and give us the squares we need to make the queen. If they step by the side, we will control the squares. If they go in the front, we will again take the opposition and make them go to inferior square again and control the queening square. Let's look at the more positions. We'll look at from the defending side as well and understand how powerful is this concept of opposition. Yes. Here, playing with the white pieces, although we are pawn down, black cannot make a queen successfully because white has the opposition in this position. White can take the opposition by going in front of the black king, just one square away, going front of the black king. And now whatever you do, you probably won't be going back. Let's say you go there. I will take the position again because that's the strongest position I can take with the white king. You wanna trying to make the progress with the pawn, doesn't matter. I will just go there. And the problem is black king cannot infiltrate. They might go back. Just stay there. Trying to infiltrate. We'll just go back. And black king cannot make any progress at all. If you try to, I will take the position again. If you try to make the progress, doesn't matter. Black king cannot make the entrance. The wrong move, although here would be, white can blunder by doing this move. Because now black can actually take the position. You go there, pawn moves, and you have to leave. And give the control of the queening square to the black. So by this you understand how powerful this opposition is. It just decides the game in these king and pawn endgames. Here, this is a wrong move because it lets black take the opposition and win this game. Although if we just go down there on e1, we can successfully defend this position. It will be a draw. Black cannot make a progress. You can put the king here, but now here white has a choice to take the opposition. So black king cannot make any progress at all. And the problem is if black pushes the pawn to e2, we can just tuck in our king there. And the problem is here, you play king to e3, runs into the stalemate, or you step aside and just give up the pawn. So this is a successful way to make a draw in this king and pawn endgame, especially when you have the opportunity to take the direct opposition. Most likely you can make a draw. Let's take a look at another example. Already you might know what do we need to do here. So this king and pawn endgame which could be really hard to calculate. That's why we have this concept of opposition that makes us easy to know the best move, the winning moves here. Best is to just take the opposition, keep taking the opposition, and finally the opponent king has to step aside and give us the squares. And when we control the queen square, we just know that we will successfully make the queen. We have got another position. Although we are so far from the pawn, still the best move is here, just taking the direct opposition. Let me look at from the engine's perspective. It is funny that if you play to king to g4, which you would like to play, it just looks so natural to play, but it becomes a draw because black king takes the opposition. This is how powerful this concept is. Let's look at the end of this variation. Here the problem is black pawn can sacrifice itself. And even if you take with the pawn, still black has the opposition and white king cannot make any progress here. Now let's look at the winning move here, the direct opposition. Now no matter what black does, we are winning the match here. Go here. Still we have the direct opposition. Black will try to sacrifice this pawn, but if you take with the king, then it will become a draw because black will take the opposition. But if you take with the pawn, black king has to leave the opposition. We will be the one having the opposition. Now we can apply the same technique when they allow move to the side. When they are in the front, we go with the opposition. Slowly we control the queening squares. You can already start moving the pawn there. Take the position here, important. They try to go by the side. Now here one more thing is important. Is that moving a pawn here, you have to be careful. The king goes there. Okay, in this position you can actually make the queen successfully, but in some knight pawns, it could be some stalemate could be there, but not in this one. Because we are the one having the move here, we can successfully make the queen here. This time we are playing it from the defending side. Now we also learned the concept of distant opposition. In the direct opposition, we were stepping in front of the opponent king directly, one square away. But you can take also the distant opposition by going in front of the opponent king when there are odd number of squares between both kings. Then also you take the opposition. There should be odd number of squares between the kings and you step in front of the opponent king and there are odd number of squares. That's how you take the direct opposition. Here there are 3 squares between the kings, so that's the odd number. So that there we take the distant opposition. Not this one, because then there are even squares and here black will be taking the opposition and black will be winning here, you see. Minus mate and 19 there. While if you play this move, you can see it's a draw. It almost feels like unbelievable concept how it works, but it just does. It's the strongest position and most flexible position you can take with the king. Again, you can take the opposition. No matter what opponent does, they cannot make any progress. Just remember, don't go down there. That will let the opponent take the position. That will be lost for white. You just be there. If they try to move the pawn, we just go back. Not here, because that will let the opponent take the position and there black will be winning. So we go there. That is the most flexible square, because if black king tries to infiltrate, we can take the position again. And again, same problem. Black king either has to stalemate us or leave the pawn and will win. Look at another example of a direct, this is the distant opposition actually. So you can pause the video and think about the right move here. How do we take the distant opposition? Here the move is king to e2. If we step there, there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 squares or squares in between the king. So that will be taking the opposition. Now, interestingly, again it looks unbelievable, but king to e2 is the only winning move. If you see all three computers' best lines, king to e2 is the only winning move for white. All other moves are draw. King to d2, king to f2. No, it doesn't work. So we play king to e2. Opponent tries to do whatever. Don't go there now. Again, we take the position or number squares in between. Take the position. Slowly, they have to let you infiltrate. Already, you can infiltrate that way. Take the position again. They have to leave the pawn. We can already go and capture that pawn, and it's an easy win from over here. That's an easy win. Even if you just sacrifice that pawn, we can go over there and make the queen. So in the king and pawn endgames, general suggestion is that you go with the opposition, whether you are on the defending side or you are on the side with the extra pawn. You go with the opposition because that's the best position you get with your king usually. So I hope that helped you to understand this very important concept to win in the pawn end games.